We must ensure that the United States commit to a proactive strategy to help see this conflict to its end, protect vulnerable populations, and support and strengthen recovery efforts in northern Uganda and the region. Mr. Speaker, a great deal has happened across the country to ensure that this bill is before the House chamber today in scarcely 1 year. I want to especially recognize and thank the national networks, organizations, and grassroots activists of Invisible Children, Resolve Uganda, the Enough Project, and many other religious and human rights groups who have rallied in support of the people and especially the children of this region of Africa. These Americans, thousands of them high school and college students, understood that the children and people of northern Uganda, the DRC, southern Sudan, and the CAR have no voice in Washington. So they were determined to become their voice.
The fact that we're even debating this topic today is largely due to the tireless efforts of young advocates throughout the United States, including in my own congressional district, who have passionately taken up the cause of those whose lives have been destroyed by the LRA.
Mr. Speaker, the United States government is a friend to the people of northern Uganda, and it is in our interest to help rid Uganda and Central Africa of the LRA. This bill authorizes the President to provide additional assistance to respond to the humanitarian needs of populations in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Southern Sudan, and Central African Republic affected by LRA activity. It further authorizes the President to support efforts by the people of northern Uganda and the government of Uganda to promote transitional justice and reconciliation on both local and national levels. Mr. Speaker, it is important that we pass this legislation today to draw attention to the LRA's reign of terror and to demonstrate our support for the people of Uganda.
Mr. Speaker, the UN Office for Humanitarian Affairs has said that this conflict is, quote, characterized by a level of cruelty seldom seen, and few conflicts rival it for its sheer brutality, end quote. Even so, it remains one of the most overlooked humanitarian and human rights crises in the world today.
More recently, there have been credible reports of the LRA gaining sanctuary in Darfur. A referendum on southern Sudan is looming next year. Unless the LRA is permanently dealt with now, you can bet that Khartoum will put this killing squad back to use again next year in South Sudan. Mr. Speaker, this civil war, originally contained within Uganda's borders, is now a regional crisis in 4 countries.
A courageous young woman named Grace Akelo testified about her abduction at the age of 15, together with 138 classmates at a boarding school by the LRA. They and approximately 30,000 other children have endured horrifying atrocities as child soldiers and sex slaves. Although Kony has been indicted by the International Criminal Court for these and other crimes against humanity, he and his cohorts have yet to be brought to justice. Mr. Speaker, we must do everything possible to stop the widespread suffering that he is inflicting and to help those who have survived his atrocities to recover.
If the LRA ever sought to right some supposed wrong, if there was ever a grievance or a cause that motivated the LRA, that has all long since been forgotten. The LRA's atrocities are barbarism for barbarism's own sake. The United Nations estimates that 90% of the LRA combatants are abducted children, often as young as 10. When the horrific conflict finally ends, those children must somehow return to civilized society after learning as children to kill innocent human beings without hesitation or remorse.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, one of the reasons that we have this worthy legislation before us, and it certainly is that, is due to a group of young people who have dedicated their voices and energy to getting the heart-wrenching situation in Uganda the attention it demands. I cannot do justice to their passion, their commitment, and their dedication to do what is right. Their energy absolutely ignites the room. Mr. Speaker, we cannot let them down, and more importantly, we cannot let down the suffering children this legislation will help.
They realize there is too much suffering, too much pain, too much destruction, too much killing in this region of Africa, so many thousands of miles away, and that there was just too much silence here in Washington. So they built a grassroots and national movement of hope for peace, for justice, for reconciliation, for reconstruction, for the recovery of the human spirit. They believe that the people of northern Uganda, the children of Uganda, the DRC, Southern Sudan, and the CAR have a right to protection and to have a voice in their own destiny. So today is a good day, a very good day, Mr. Speaker, because today these hundreds of thousands of voices have brought this bill to the House floor today for final passage.
The question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass Senate 1067? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed? In the opinion of the Chair, 2/3 being affirmative, the rules are suspended. The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid on the table.